They haven't unmuted me yet. Well, Gary made it today.
Morning, Red. Morning, Larry.
Morning, Dale.
Good morning.
Morning, Mark.
Morning.
Morning, Gary.
Good morning, Dale.
Good morning, Red. Morning, Judge.
And I see the judge. Good morning, Judge.
She's still muted.
Morning.
She's ignored all of us.
Morning,
No.
Gary.
No, I'm not. Lulu had me muted.
Morning, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yes, we can now.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Morning, Judge.
Morning.
And I see the judge. Good morning, Judge.
Morning.
She's still muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
She's ignored all of us.
Morning, Gary.
No, I'm not. Lulu had me muted.
Morning, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Where's your wig?
Oh, I left it. We're not having wigs today. I've got a couple more though we have to do.
Okay.
Some people didn't find it funny last week though.
I did.
Everyone needs a good laugh now and then. Y'all ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and Tara apparently put me in the newspaper. I haven't seen it yet. But she better have made me look good and not look bad.
Need to, I'm gonna mute all and then go in and unmute them again. Haven't unmuted everybody.
Okay. Hold on just a second. We're gonna mute y'all and then unmute you. Yeah, maybe not that fine because it's too hilarious.
Do you want me to turn off?
Are they muted?
Yes, everybody's muted.
We're not gonna do the pledge. Yeah, special meeting. Okay, we'll call the meetings to order. Are you gonna unmute all of them?
There you are.
Oh, okay. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order, and I'll just remind everybody that's on Zoom that there's the chat box. If you have any questions or comments about the meeting or during the meeting, you can type that in the chat box. And is there something in there?
Tara saying it was awesome. You're a cool cat.
Did you hear that, Chris?
I did.
Okay. All
I
right.
also got a message wondering why I was pink, and I think it's because of my background and the lighting. So I'm not red. I'm not red in real life.
Could be. You look like an alien from Star Wars, just saying.
I'm not sunburned.
Okay, our first order of business is item 3, to consider, discuss, and approve any and all items necessary or pertaining to the county jail. And Brooklyn called from the sheriff's office, and Efren was out on a call, so or the sheriff's out on a call. He's not gonna be able to be here, but she did give me some information. There are 31 inmates, 3 females, 28 males. Let me make sure this is going. And the circulating pump in the boiler room was replaced last week. She didn't indicate who did that work, so I'm not sure. Y'all have any questions?
No.
Okay. The next item is item 4, to consider, discuss, and approve any and all items that are necessary or pertaining to the county courthouse. Red, did you have anything?
I haven't had any discussion with James or Carl or any of them this week.
Okay.
But as quick as we get kind of where it looks like we're moving, we'll get things done. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Well, as soon as we get open back up, which hopefully will be sometime in the near future. All right, item 5 is the update on the COVID-19, and Jerry's here in the courtroom too, so he'll give us the update.
Okay, we'll start out with Hutchinson County cases. Right now, as far as Hutchinson County, we've to emergency management or to the judge, we had 19 total reported cases to Hutchinson County. 16 of those have been state confirmed cases. So if you look at DSHS 16, it'll show us that 16. There's been 3 cases that are rapid test cases that are pending PCR confirmation, which is the rapid testing is a different type of testing. So being that it's rapid testing, it can test positive for a couple other different coronaviruses. So they have to get a PCR confirmation test on these individuals before the state will report them or add them to the total. But it did test positive, so we still do the same protocol for our first responders to make sure that they know that these people were tested positive. So 2 of those cases still have been reported to us as recovered from DSHS. This is the maps showing that in Texas, 31,548 reported cases. Just in the last 4 days, that's went up by 4,000, over 4,000 people. 867 reported fatalities to COVID, and then 15,544 recoveries. This is our area. We have, like I said, it shows on DSHS, we have 16 cases in Hutchinson County. Here's the map showing the counties that have listed fatalities in our area. Moore County was up to 6, I believe. Potter County was up to 9. This map is like the one we had last time, showing our new daily cases reported in Texas. Over the last 4 days, it's went up. We've actually had the highest rate over the last 4 days, over 1,000 people per day. Just as of yesterday, 1,026 people reported positive just yesterday. So there's some more demographic information. showing you the age ranges of fatality investigations. You can definitely see as the 80 and over area has the greatest fatality percentage. And out of those 865 cases, 405 of those have been under investigation or have been investigated to show these numbers, what you're seeing at the bottom. This is our current status on hospital numbers for our region. Available hospital beds for our region. So this is everything from top 26 counties, 468 available hospital beds, 31 available ICU beds, 100 ventilators available. The number of ICU beds has went down a little bit since the last time we had talked. That is one thing. Amarillo is, I'm sure y'all are aware if you've seen the news, that they are transitioning to some sort of a, I guess you can say, a hot spot, or that their numbers are increasing rapidly. A lot of it's due to out of county workers is what they're reporting. Some of our cases in Hutchinson County are also due to that. We have cases that were picked up in out of county, and like I said, they reside in Hutchinson County, but being that they reside here, we report them here. But the mayor in Amarillo did send a request to the governor's office, which was answered with FEMA and with the governor's office to send in a task force, a hotspot task force to this region. It's going to be coming into Amarillo, but we were given information that if we needed any additional assistance, they would be here for the region to assist if we needed.
So let me ask a question. What exactly is their function going to be?
The main function is to make sure that they're going to work on contact tracing.
Oh, just to help that out.
But they're going to work on more of contact tracing, and then they're also going to bring in some medical engineers to see if the status that they have is in the hospitals with the amount of cases they get per day. Is it going to overcome the capability of the hospital?
Okay.
And then trying to put plans in place to mitigate that before it happens.
Are they going to Moore County too?
They said they were going to be assigned to the region.
Okay.
Amarillo specifically sent in the request. But if anybody in the region has anything, we just contact our district disaster coordinator, and then we can get some.
Okay.
The next thing I wanted to bring out is we've been working with our TDM rep, and he's been working with the National Guard. We kind of talked about this a little bit last time. We can finally put this information out. We put it out yesterday. We could not release the location, date, and time until 48 hours prior to the event, said the National Guard. So yesterday we released the information. This is our drive-through testing location, time, and their criteria, what it takes to get in there. This is, like I said, you can go online, visit at txcovidtest.org, or call that phone number, 512-883-2400. They ask you a little bit, or just a questionnaire of a couple of things. You meet the criteria that they need, which what we've been told is very limited as far as criteria. They will set you up a code or an information to and a time to go to the drive-through testing location. We will be set up there all day tomorrow. We'll meet the National Guard out there early in the morning to get set up, and then, like I said, all day tomorrow we'll have drive-through testing. So we're expecting that our numbers are going to increase in this area if we get people to actually show up to this. Hopefully we do. We'll probably see an increase in our numbers.
And did you say how long will it take to get results for 4 to 5 days? Or?
Well, normally it's 3 to 5 days is what we tell people for results. They could be back faster. I've seen a 2-day turnaround. normally is 3 to 5 day turnaround on the test results. And these
Jerry,
results, yes.
did you see that post or the comments on the post that people were calling about appointments and they were told that they're not going to be in Borger and they would have to go to Moore County to get tested?
No.
There were 2 people on that post on the cities that they said they called the Austin number and they were told they had to go to Moore County because they're not coming to Borger.
Okay, well, they weren't taking registrations till yesterday afternoon.
I don't know when they called. They just made that comment on.
But it might have, like I said, if they called before their registration period opened up, they
Gotcha.
weren't given that information.
Okay.
So that's why we were specifically told we can't release this
Right.
until yesterday afternoon.
So they probably called before.
I'm
Wait,
guessing that's probably what the circumstance was.
I just didn't know if you were aware of that. I just wanted
I
to.
wasn't, no, I didn't see that.
That makes sense though. Thank you.
So do you have any other questions on the drive-through testing? This is
I
gonna be
did-
a bigger
I had a-
thing for us.
I had a question about the regional hospital beds and ventilators and stuff. If Amarillo needed more ventilators, is that something that we would possibly lose in the smaller hospitals involuntarily, or would they, how does that work at the resource flow?
So the agency or area that needs the ventilators, we all work through the district disaster coordination group or the RAC, and we put in a STAR request with the state, and those would come directly from the state stockpile. The state does have a stockpile of ventilators. They'll move those around as needed. We haven't had a need for those here, so we haven't put in any STAR requests for those, but we do have a stockpile of ventilators. And then if the state needed some, we'd go directly to FEMA for those as well. But they won't take them from us to put in Amarillo or anything like that. We have a stockpile of those specifically for that use.
Okay, thank you.
And that's all I have on that.
Okay, do y'all have any other questions for Jerry?
Thank you for your hard work, Jerry.
Okay, item 6 on our agenda is discussion and take any necessary action related to the COVID-19. And we, at our meeting last week, we did an extension of our declaration. And then that afternoon, y'all know the governor spoke and about his plan to reopen Texas. So we do need to clarify in our declaration just one thing, and that is in section 6 of our declaration that we extended. It was limiting the gatherings to 10 or less, and the governor kind of took that out of with his plan to reopen Texas. And so we've revised our declaration to mirror what the governor's trying to do. And section 6 will say that the declaration hereby establishes social distancing protocols to meet the governor's executive order to reopen Texas. So any questions on that or comments, Jerry?
Yeah, like I said, with the governor's new executive orders, some of them were kind of a little more than what we thought they were going to be. This right here was something that was, I wouldn't say contradictory, but in some of the instances in the executive orders, it could make it difficult if we were looking at any enforcement, it could make it difficult with that, which we hadn't had to do yet, but just for that reason, we wanted to make sure we met the state, their state guidelines on how they're doing the Reopen Texas campaign. And by doing this, it just puts us in line with the state's campaign. And
the governor did make it clear that his order supersedes any local orders. So we're just trying to stay in line with his guidelines. So I'm going to need to get y'all's signature on this new one if we decide to pass this. So do I have a motion to accept the new
Made a motion.
declaration?
So moved.
Red
Second.
and Chris seconded, okay. All right, any further discussion on the new declaration extension? All in favor? Okay, great. Do we have anything else on item 6? Jerry, can you think of anything else? You know, we have decided to keep the courthouse closed for as long as we've got this declaration in place. So again, you know, maybe we can review this in a couple of weeks, and if our numbers don't continue to increase, then maybe we can look at reopening to the public. But I think that's something we need to wait and make a determination as we kind of see how the next couple of weeks go.
Under the some of the executive orders, especially under Executive Order 18, the governor did put in some stipulations or some protocols on how to open businesses. And I've had several phone calls about how they're going to do this. You know, especially meets the, you know, Hutchinson County, we don't have less than 5 reported cases, so we're still at the 25%, the 25% occupancy of that retail business. So after going through these, and like I said, I've talked to a lot of the cities also about how they're looking at enforcing it, and a lot of them are kind of at a loss as far as the enforcement of it as well, because it was specifically said that it's up to the local jurisdiction to enforce if there is a need for that. But like I said, it also says in there that his executive order, you know, does take precedent over any of ours. So it is a logistics that we're trying to work out as far as enforcement. I think a lot of it's going to be based off of that business doing the right thing. It's just making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. To that way we don't turn Hutchinson County into a hotspot as well. But we are looking at that the executive orders and how we're going to proceed with especially after we start taking the next step, the next phase into increasing more people into businesses, which I don't see that happening right now. Our numbers keep going up. I don't see that transitioning, you know, that quickly, but right now we are under the 25% rule.
Anything further? Do y'all have anything further on item 6? Okay. Item 7 is discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. Do y'all have anything?
No, I don't.
No.
Oh, okay. Hey, one thing that I want y'all to start thinking about, and I will put it on the agenda for our next regular meeting, is our insurance, our health renewals. We should have that information this week on the exact increase. That's what they're telling us, that they're supposed to put that out, I think May the 6th. They are projecting a 5% increase, which if it actually is 5%, we're probably going to be happy with that, because you know last year we had a bigger increase than that. But they also told us last year that we probably weren't going to increase that much, and then we ended up getting almost the maximum. So we'll just have to wait and see. But Kathy's done some. Kathy, are you on here? Is Kathy on?
I didn't see her on.
Okay. Well, she's done some, put some figures together, and I'll just email out this to all of you if y'all have not already received it, so you can be looking at the projected.
We got it.
She sent
We
to
got
us.
it.
Okay. All right. So you can just be thinking about that as in relation to how that's going to affect the budget. It's, you know, it's always a huge increase. So potentially about $72,000 increase just on insurance. So be looking over that and be ready to make some decisions or at least discuss it. And of course, Charlotte's going to weigh in on other options if possible. So we'll need to visit with that about that at our next meeting. Anything else that y'all can think of? Any comments? Any more public comments? Did someone write some?
No, I just said if you had any questions.
Oh, okay.
I got the letter of resignation from LaDonna this morning. I hate to see her go.
Yes, I thought I just put that on the agenda for acceptance on our regular meeting. But yes, I know, we're all sad to see her go. Anything else? Okay, gonna send y'all the declaration so I can get your signatures on that. So be looking for that. And if there's no public comments, then meeting adjourned. Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Y'all have a
you.
great week.
See you next week.
All right.
Regular meeting.
Bye, everybody.